Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So yesterday, this is going to be a talking video. Some folks like them, some don't. If you don't, please just move on. Anyway, yesterday was my first day of work and the job was fairly local. We installed a Navian natural gas fired boiler. Furnaces do hot air, boilers make hot water. So it was a good job. We had to tear out a boiler, and the boiler was also doing it had a tank, remote tank that it was putting hot water into. The Navian did everything all in one. So I got to my buddy's place at about 8. We loaded up the truck. We got to the job before 9 o'clock, and we didn't leave the job until 9 o'clock last night. It was a lot of work, and as a matter of fact, we have to go back tomorrow to finish up. We got as far as the hot water is all hooked up and working. We now have to get the baseboard set up. The job, I spent a lot of the day cracking up because my buddy is just a barrel of monkeys there. He's a load of laughs. We're on the job for, I don't know, a couple of hours, tearing out the old installation. And he keeps leaving ransom notes, and if you guys are familiar with what that is, he's leaving these ransom notes, so, you know, it's like note to self, stay away from Mikey. He just stinks. And he goes, I was at a graduation party yesterday and ate all this stuff, and, you know, I got to use the bathroom. So he goes upstairs, and could I use your bathroom? And of course they say, sure, no problem. So he uses the bathroom, and I'm downstairs. I'm continuing the tear out. So he's gone for a while, and so as I'm downstairs working away, it was a raised ranch. Picture on the way into the basement is through 2 garages. Then you got kind of a semi-finished basement, and the far end are where all the facilities are and where this furnace is. So it was cool enough down there, but very damp. You know, everything was sweating from, you know, keeping the doors open to carry everything out. So anyway, so I'm down there, and I just keep hearing him flush. And I'm like, oh man, he showed up at these people's house, man, and destroyed their bathroom. So after hearing a bunch of flushes, I hear him come out, and I hear some whispering, and I'm still just tearing things apart, trying to behave myself. And next thing I know, the homeowner comes down. The homeowners were senior citizens, and I consider senior citizens able to collect Social Security or older. These folks were on their way to their 80s, so they were definitely senior citizens. So they come down, and the old guy is walking about, and he's like, "Did you see my plunger?" Thinking, oh God, this guy just destroyed it. And then you know, eventually they got that sorted out. But we're talking even outside. I don't know what the heck he ate, if it was fried roadkill or skunk or whatever he ate, but he not only, you know, cemented up their plumbing, but he definitely fumigated the house. So Mike comes down, and, you know, he's a tad embarrassed from his antics, and he goes, "Oh man, I couldn't believe this." And I go, "Don't worry about it. You're just marking your territory." So we crack up and go back to work. Working with him is going to just be a load of laughs. It's just going to be funny. One other thing you run into, and I kind of forgot about running into this. I was doing his electrical work, and so I wire up the outlet, and I have a way of remembering what the colors are. You basically have white is neutral, copper's ground, obviously, and then black is hot, black is death, right? Picture, something that got hit by a car and it sits out there for a few days. It begins to, out in the sun for a few days, it begins to look kind of black and kind of smelly, so you remember black is death. So anyway, I wire up the outlet, and fairly pleased with myself. And just to double check, I take out my meter and I'm checking things, and everything's exactly where it should be. And I go, well, let me just double check against this wall outlet. And I'm looking around, and there's like no wall outlets anywhere. All he's got are these extension cords. We were using an extension cord that he was running a little condensate pump out of. So now I'm checking the extension cord, and everything's backwards, and I'm like, man, did I fall on my head and get me a concussion or something? I couldn't have wired these backwards. I definitely, So now, I double check. I pull the panel off, and I take a look at it, and sure enough, out of the breakers comes the black wire. So I'm like, no, that's the right way. And I'm looking at a GFI outlet that we had, and I'm looking at it, and it says hot on one side and white on the other, and this is where you put the ground. I mean, it's all. So I'm like, no, I hooked this up right. It's definitely, now I'm double checking, everything to ground to make sure everything's proper. And I'm like, no, I hooked this up right. So I checked the extension cord that we were using for the sump pump, and sure enough, it was backwards. And I followed it to the wall, and it was plugged in correctly. The wall was where he had his washer and dryer. So that outlet had to be wired backwards. And then there was another extension cord that he had his dehumidifier plugged into. So I unplugged that and got juiced, right? I got the old tingle action. I'm like, man, what's with this? And I checked that one, and it sure enough was backwards, And then from where his washing machine was, he had a extension cord running out to the garage that was running a refrigerator, and I quickly checked that one, and sure enough, that one appeared to be backwards. So, I'm like going, wow, this is some bad news. What I'm going to do, we do have to go back tomorrow to finish up and hook up the heating side of the condensing boiler, hook the loops in. So I'm going to I have a little LED tester. You plug it in, right, and you could see according to the way the lights are lit up, if things are wired properly or improperly. I'm going to do, this is not part of the job, but I'm just going to kind of warn him, hey, you got some activity going on here that's a little weird. The basement looks like it was finished in steps, and the electrical work that I saw was scary. Where the washing machine was plugged in and so forth, that looked a little scary. And then once again, the way they had the wires and all. So I'm thinking he at some point may want to get somebody in to look at that. I just want to bring in my little light up gauge and plug it into the wall and say, okay, this is all done. See what we did here? It's all nice. In the county I live in, you don't need to be a licensed electrician. So once again, I'm going to show him that, and hopefully he'll be happy with what we did. And then once again, I got to show him some of these other things going on. He's got his neutral and his hot. It looks like he's got his neutral and hot wire swapped. Looks like everything's been running like that for a long time, but still not the best way to do things. So that was my first day of work. It was a load of laughs. It was 12 hours long. I got to go back tomorrow and finish up. So today I have some catching up to do around the house. So you guys will probably see some of it. And there we are. Anyway, folks, I really want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. I want you to keep your feet down, keep your heads up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.